thought this was interesting. I wanted to share it with you. This is Charlie Bolello. And let's just kind of go through it. It's a thread. Many are saying that the Fed is making a mistake in hiking rates too fast in an attempt to break inflation. Where were these critics when the money supply was increased by 40% in 2 years and the Fed was buying mortgage bonds, artificially suppressing rates during a housing bubble? Very pointed question. It says artificially boosting asset prices was the mistake. It's an inflationary policy that created no long-term economic value and likely detracted from real growth as it crowded out productive investments in other areas. Home prices should be dictated by incomes, not Fed boom bust policy. You want them to be affordable because they're not a productive good. You don't want people to spend a high percentage of their incomes on housing as it detracts from investing in areas that can lead to real economic growth. Those pushing to cut rates and print more money to save the housing market are trying to solve the problem with the cause of the problem. Crazy idea. Why not allow free market rates and incomes to dictate where home prices should be instead of 12 central planners in an ivory tower? Couple things here. Number one, I do not understand how you could ever think that the Fed isn't responsible for this absolute atrocious housing policy. I mean, this is their making. The Fed was buying mortgage bonds, artificially suppressing rates during a housing bubble. And not only that, in January of last year, I'm saying, look, this is problematic. Get inflation under control. Inflation is the worst tax on everyone. Don't let this get out of hand. And they just waited and waited and waited and waited. And then all of a sudden they jumped in and it's like, too late. Too late. Now, home prices should be dictated by incomes, not Fed boom bust policy. I think that the Fed over the last 30 years has not been a lot of help. Okay. Not been a lot of help to the working folks. Their whole job is price stability, and they've not even come close. Now you could say, well, it's because Washington's spending money that they don't have. Well, it's probably true. But if your mission is price stability and that's your number one job, and you can't do it through a number of chair people and everything, then maybe you don't deserve the respect that you're given. Maybe you do. Maybe it's not warranted. Maybe when you speak on television, maybe we should just turn the channel to something else. Okay, that's Charlie Bolello for today. Lance Lambert, he writes for, I believe, Fortune magazine. Updated, firms predicting that the U.S. home prices will fall on a year-over-year basis. This is updated as of today. Morgan Stanley, TD Bank, Moody's, all these ones, okay? Then it says, firms predicting that U.S. prices won't fall on a year-over-year basis. NBA Mortgage, Zillow, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and Goldman Sachs. I missed one. CoreLogic also isn't predicting declining prices. They're wrong. They're coming down. I can remember the estimates early in the year that said that we were going to see 7% price growth. Redfin. This is a thread of 5. I just want to check and see if anybody's in the chat. Don't want to leave anyone out. As mortgage rates reach new highs since 2007, more home buyers are delaying or canceling their plans altogether, their buying plans altogether. Sellers are also backing out, causing new listings to hit their lowest level since February. Mortgage rates rose to 6.7% this week following months of extreme fluctuation. As a result, the typical home buyer's monthly mortgage climbed $337 or 15% over the past 6 weeks to a new high of $2,547. With less home buyer demand, the share of homes sold above list price hit its lowest level in over 2 years. Additionally, pending home sales fell to the lowest level since January. Despite new listings declining, months of supply has been growing quickly, reaching 3 months for the first time since July of 2020. This means that more homes are lingering on the market because they are undesirable and or overpriced. I would say that there are many undesirable homes that are not just necessarily straight a price issue. There's just something about the home that's undesirable. Most of the time they're dirty and nasty and priced too high, but they could also be like construction wise, the design could be poor. Additions could be added that are terrible, that don't add to the structure. Sellers should anticipate that buyers are unwilling or unable to pay a price similar to what their neighbor's home sold for a month ago. And buyers should connect with their lenders to find ways to mitigate the impact of rising rates. Buyers should connect with their lenders to find ways to mitigate the impact of rising rates. Now, what does that mean? That means adjustable rate mortgages. That means something other than a 30-year fixed. That means taking on more risk as a buyer, even though it doesn't seem like you're taking on more risk. That was code. Hopefully you understood it. Unusual Wales, UK retailers are facing a mortgage time bomb with rising interest rates set to have twice the impact on consumer finances as the recent surge in utility bills, according to Deutsche Bank. Look, these people in the UK are having trouble with electricity, like paying for utilities, and now they're going to get hit with a mortgage time bomb. Can we in any way argue that we're not living in like one of the most wonderful times in human history? I mean, look at all that's available to us. And yet it's still not perfect. It's still not the panacea. Fascinating. This just in, the cost of an average UK mortgage could rise by 70% in March. Not good. Not good. I thought this was an interesting tweet. I thought we should talk about it a little bit. I disagree wholly with the... okay, good. Let me go over here. It says the housing... I don't know who this is, Stinson Dean. Lumber trader, it says. Okay. The housing industry is in rough shape at the moment, but the demographics driving housing demand haven't gone away. New multifamily units is the path of least resistance, in my opinion. Most certainly not a deal, but I think the easiest path forward to house America. The single family home in the United States to me is just such a wonderful, wonderful thing. The idea that you could own your own home is such a wonderful thing. And now we're going to do multifamily units, like common wall construction. I mean, I think there's a place for everything. You know, I think there's a place for it. I think that consumers can determine if they want these products and at what price they're willing to pay to acquire these products. I just never want to live in a multifamily unit in my life, but I know other people that totally enjoy it, and I don't mind selling condos. It doesn't bother me a bit. I don't think there needs to be a special focus on multifamily. Let me know what you think. This is kind of fun. Wall Street Silver put this little meme here. It says, 2008, we made some bad loans. 2022, the global economy is a Ponzi scheme. Look, I keep getting